the input that I've received. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be here this evening. And it's such a wonderful group with such varied experience that is really invaluable to me. I know there are some comments about, okay, like, you know, what is this? Like, where does this go from here? So let me just give you a couple of assurances. First of all, I want to tell you I have an amazing team, both of staff as well as volunteers. And so tonight, Louise has been working diligently in the back. Louise, if you just put your hand up there. And she is recording the information that's being spoken. In addition to that, Anne has mentioned a number of times about the importance of the data if you have it. So Dr. Pickering, for example, has given me her content of what she has presented. Anyone who has those written notes, I would encourage you to give them to Louise. What happens now is we will collate the information that has come from tonight's session, and we will be providing that to the minister so that she can take a look at that. And then it's my responsibility as your representative to ensure that your concerns and your voices are heard in Ottawa. And I take that very seriously. I want to mention, Louise did mention that the Indigenous groups were invited. They weren't here tonight, but they have met me in my office, and that invitation is open to each and every one of you. Antioko Pudu in the back corner there, if you raise your hand, Antioko. I hate to say this, and I don't say this in an elitist way. He's the scheduler, and believe me, you're in better hands when you work through him to schedule, through getting an appointment with the office than for me. And so anyone that wishes to meet with me, I would ask you that you see Antioko, and we will schedule that in. I'm proud of our Prime Minister, and I say this with all sincerity. I truly believe that Justin Trudeau believes in Canadians. And he has impressed upon us not only the importance of service, one of the first messages, which I think is the most important message for MPs, but also about listening to our constituents. So it's one of the reasons why I still go out and canvass, even though there's not an election on. I'm canvassing so that I can get those ideas, so that I know whom I'm representing and what you stand for. And yes, in this room this evening, we're speaking to the converted. I get that. It came up at a table. I understand that piece. But I can't impress upon you enough the importance of you going out and getting others to be very vocal about this cause, because this government will listen. We have a website that you can go on, and I would encourage you to go on that website and to give your points and comments. And I would encourage you to lobby as many people as possible to go onto that website. What is extremely heartening tonight is the amount of education that's going on. We had students in elementary school here. We had youth saying, we are scared, and the earth loves us. These are powerful messages, and we have educators who are in classrooms, who are taking the time to spend with students so that they can be aware, so that they will go out and empower. And I've worked with them for 20 years, and they are the catalysts of change, and we need to do everything in our power to keep them going on their road to justice and to make change happen. Tonight has been fantastic, and I don't want you to be disheartened. I don't want you to think, well, you know, it's just another political thing and this is the way it goes. I take this job very seriously, and I take representing you in Ottawa very seriously. And so I want to ensure that that your views will be represented. You know, when I canvassed, I was almost thrown off a number of porches because people were fed up, right? It's like, okay, another politician. I don't even want to talk to you. And I understand that, and I want to work to change that. And so the only promise I can give you is that I'm going to do my best in that representation. And just as a final, two final points. The first is, you know, Ian, your point about economic revolution. My committee, which I absolutely love, is HUMA, which is Human Resources, Social Skills, and Status of Persons with Disabilities. And I love that committee. And the upcoming study is poverty and homelessness. So I've already submitted some names of Hamilton experts, and we do have great resources here in the city, not only for the environment, which was raised, but also in the area of homelessness and how we're combating that. And we will have another town hall like that. If your name is on the email, you'll get an invitation to that. So there is, in my own committee work, opportunities to make effective change in the economic revolution part. And I need your support and help in that. And an idea, there was a lot of good ideas that came tonight. A number of people mentioned the students, but one idea was from one of the teachers that left, and he said, you know, this is great, we're talking about this, but where do we go from here? So what I would do is, I would invite anyone that's interested to perhaps we can continue this dialogue forward. So now what happens is I bring the information back to Ottawa, we then discuss this, we continue to move forward on this plan and page, but perhaps we can have an ongoing group, and that would consist of people in this room and others that are conscientious and concerned about this and want to be continually involved in the dialogue and be advisors to me and help me as I represent you. So there are changes that can happen. We know that the government is looking for this sort of input in order to know the direction of what those changes should be. 62.5 million was invested for electric vehicle charging stations, and the cutting of taxes for companies who are going to invest in the infrastructure for that. Those are the sorts of things that we can continue to deliver moving forward, but we need your input, and I just want to thank you very much for what you've done this evening in helping me represent you more effectively. Thank you, and thank you to our wonderful moderator, Anne Tenge, who's always lovely.